The Austin City Council is making its way through a long list of big issues before the end of the year.
Some of the top items on today's agenda include energy and also tourism here in the city.
Plus, President Biden announced he will commute the sentences of almost 1,500 people before he leaves office. How this compares to what past presidents have done.
And after a few weeks of cooler weather, are we saying goodbye to the blue boxes and hello to more red boxes? I'll tell you how warm it's going to be, the rain chances, and so much more in your First Warning Weather.
In-depth, investigative. This is KXAN News at Noon.
This afternoon, we're starting with some developing news. An effort to oust the Travis County District Attorney has seemingly come to an end. A judge granted an initial motion to dismiss the case against Jose Garza, noting that voters here in Travis County re-elected him just last month.
You may remember we've been reporting on an original petition to remove Garza from office. It was filed in April, and it accuses the DA of incompetency and official misconduct. It argues Garza refused to prosecute a class or type of criminal offense, and argues that he singles out law enforcement officials by automatically presenting charges against them to grand juries. Now, this petition comes under a law that passed last legislative session targeting so-called rogue prosecutors. It allows for the removal of a district attorney for official misconduct, and it took effect last year. We're still working to get more context on this new ruling from a judge today. We'll, of course, have that for you here throughout the show and online at KXAN.com. Well, a lot of us are feeling it, the crunch to try to get things done before the holidays and before the end of the year. And guess what? We're not alone. Our Austin City Council, it appears, is feeling it as well.
Oh, yes. The council has more than 140 items on the agenda today alone. KXAN's Grace Reeder is joining us live once again at Austin City Hall with a look at some of the big tasks that they still have to take. Grace, what's the update now?
Yeah, well, they still are working through this agenda. One of the most contentious items that they still have yet to get to is Austin Energy's generation plan. That's essentially how the city creates enough energy over the next decade to fuel this city. It's technically called the Austin Energy Resource Generation and Climate Protection Plan to 2035. Here's why this one has been so contentious. You may remember this plan got kicked down the line earlier this year because City Council and the mayor didn't think it went far enough in addressing climate change, most notably pulling Austin out of its portion of the Fayette Power Plant. At a meeting this week, Austin Energy leaders said the Fayette Power Plant is a, quote, insurance policy during times of significant demand. And it also helped offset roughly $500 million in costs to customers during the 2021 winter storm. Here was Austin Mayor Kirk Watson's response to that.
We modeled it with Fayette out. We did. So if nothing else, that shows at least some recommitment to being out of Fayette. But I will admit to you that answer, when you talk about Fayette saving money and doing all those kinds of things, sounds like we need Fayette to help us save money. And we want Fayette in order, and that's, I think, part of the reason some people have, including me, sometimes a heartburn about what is that commitment.
We expect this item to be discussed after music and after public comment, so within about the next hour here. It got pulled off of the consent agenda because council members want to talk about it in a more robust way. I'll stay on top of that for you. The City Council could also vote to create an Austin Tourism Public Improvement District. Actually, they approved that just about an hour ago to help bring in new money while the Austin Convention Center is under construction. This has been in the works for years. Austin hotels with at least 100 rooms will now be taxed 2% of gross room revenue for the next decade. And again, this one was approved on consent. And finally, we've got KXAN investigator Matt Grant with me here today too, because Austin City Council is also considering a proposal that could make hospitals safer in direct response to our investigations following a deadly ER crash earlier this year. If passed, that resolution would require crash-rated bollards to be put outside of new hospitals, urgent care clinics, and standalone ERs, along with any existing hospitals that request expansions or changes. Although I will say that this was brought up by the Planning Commission earlier this week, so whether this item gets brought up today or tossed down the line is yet to be determined. It was brought forward by Councilmember Mackenzie Kelly. This is her last meeting, along with Councilmember Allison Alter and Mayor Mayor Pro Tem Leslie Poole. There will be 3 new council members on the dais the next time there is a city council meeting like this one. There's a lot of items, though, left for these city council members to cover today. We're going to stay on top of all of them for you. We'll see you back here at 4. Guys.
Much to track there, Grace, but we appreciate you following it all for us. Thanks again.
Absolutely.
First warning weather.
We want to take you live outside now from our Austonian camera, where this has just been a gorgeous view all morning for us. We know it was chilly, but it's starting to warm up a little bit, as it has all this week. I just love this time of year because I know if I squint really hard from this Austonian camera, I can see Zilker and the trail of lights and the beautiful tree that's up there. Really gets me in the holiday spirit.
What you can't really see is right off to the left is Long Center, and the KXAN weather team all got together yesterday and we accepted an award, and I'll talk a bit more about it later, but it was based off of our climate change initiative and what we do and how we help try to get the word out about climate change.
Well, big congratulations. You guys deserve all the awards. If you don't know, we've got the best weather team in the biz, in my opinion, and apparently in a few other people's opinions as well.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, so one of the things that we like to do is always track the cold weather, and one of the things that we were tracking was how cold it'll be this morning. Take a look at where we actually hit overall. Certain spots actually dropped down to a bit colder than what we saw yesterday. Austin, 34 degrees is what they hit. That was just a tad colder than yesterday at 37 degrees. Other spots were a bit warmer. Fredericksburg was only a couple of degrees warmer. Same out towards Mason. Llano was actually a bit cooler out there. Georgetown was a bit cooler as well, and San Marcos was right around on line at around 30 degrees. But many other spots had only gotten to about 32, where they dropped down to about 31. So overall, we've been seeing kind of that up and down fluctuation depending on where you're at. Take a look at a live image out of our Whittlesey Landscape Supplies camera in Liberty Hill, where we've seen mostly clear skies. There's been a couple of clouds here and there, and that cloud coverage is going to continue to grow as the day goes on. Mason, Llano, Burnett, Lampasas, all the way up towards Georgetown and Round Rock, where we're starting to see plenty of clouds, and they're slowly moving their way down towards the south. So we get more of a cloudier day, especially as when you get to the evening hours. So we'll stick with around 65 as a high, and then we'll drop down to about 61 by the early evening hours with those clouds building up. Here's a look at what we can expect for the day. We continue to have a fresh day ahead. We have the weekend rain returning, and there's a cold front on the way. I'll tell you when it should arrive, plus the drought monitor has been updated and our weekend watch. That's all coming up.
Thank you. We'll get back with you in just a few minutes. The White House today has announced what it calls the largest number of clemencies granted in a single day. President Biden will pardon 39 people convicted of nonviolent crimes. He will commute the sentences as well of almost 1,500 other individuals the White House calls nonviolent as well. They have been placed on home confinement for at least 1 year under the COVID-19 era CARES Act. The White House said they had shown successful rehabilitation, adding that many of these defendants would have received lower sentences if they were tried under today's laws, policies, and practices. The White House also noted that President Biden is the first president to issue categorical pardons for people convicted of the use and possession of marijuana, and to some former LGBTQ+ service members convicted because of their sexual orientation. For more context, President Barack Obama commuted the sentences of 330 offenders in one of his final acts before leaving office in 2017. It was at the time the largest single batch of commutations in history.
In other news today, President-elect Donald Trump is now saying he would like the former Arizona Senate candidate, Kari Lake, to serve as the next director of Voice of America. That's a media outlet that provides news, information, and programming. It reaches about 328 million people across the globe. Trump says that Lake would, quote, ensure that the American values of freedom and liberty are broadcast around the world fairly and accurately. She previously worked as a news anchor in Arizona and is a well-known Trump supporter. Today, Time magazine named President-elect Trump as its 2024 Person of the Year. He beat out a short list of finalists, including Vice President Kamala Harris, Kate Middleton, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and the billionaire Elon Musk. Trump was also Time's Person of the Year back in 2016 after his victory over Hillary Clinton. In conjunction with the announcement today, Trump also rang the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange.
FBI Director Christopher Wray says he plans to resign at the end of the Biden administration. President-elect Donald Trump appointed him in 2017 after firing James Comey as FBI Director. Trump has since been highly critical of Wray, including over the 2022 FBI search for classified documents that led to Trump's criminal indictment.
He invaded Mar-a-Lago. I'm very unhappy with the things he's done.
Trump already said he plans to nominate Kash Patel for that position. We are coming up on 12:15 here, and we're taking a live look out at Coda today with those beautiful blue skies. Although the temperatures this morning and heading into the afternoon a little chillier than what we've seen. Freddie's tracking all of that for us. He'll have your full forecast coming up in just a few minutes. You could one day see kiosks popping up around the city of Austin, and the city is considering installing them in busy areas. This is according to a new memo from the city manager's office. The kiosks would offer Wi-Fi hotspots and provide job information to people. They will also include air quality and pedestrian sensors and keep public transit routes and schedules. So pretty multifunctional there. The Austin Economic Development Department is expected to send out a request for funds from the City of Austin for these next year, as well as a staff recommendation to City Council in the middle of next year. We'll keep you updated on that.
Some exciting news to pass along this afternoon. The KXAN First Warning Weather Team received an honor yesterday. They received the 2024 Climate Coverage Champion Award from the Austin chapter of the Citizens Climate Lobby. The local chapter is a nonpartisan climate group hoping to advocate for policy changes to fight climate change.
KXAN has really been in the forefront of broadcasting the relationship between climate and weather.
And separately, we want to note that Jim Spencer got an award for his decades of climate change coverage at KXAN before his semi-retirement. Of course, we still see him walking the halls here at KXAN every now and again, but so amazing that you all received that acknowledgement and that award.
A big congrats, and it's
Well
always
deserved.
so cool to see our team all together. You guys are always on at different times, and y'all are such rock stars. So seeing all of y'all lined up, such a powerhouse team.
It really is, you know, the whole team together, the amount of knowledge that everyone has, we're able to learn so many things from each other and really build each other up. And I think that's been one of the coolest things about working with the First Warning Weather Team and seeing where the future leads. I'm really excited about that.
Yeah.
Huge congrats.
Here's something else I'm excited about, our weekend watch. There's a lot going on, and I love to share this with everyone. Take a look. This is what we're going to be talking about today. First off, weekend watch. Of course, you can always visit our website, KXAN.com. I have an article. All you got to do is look up weekend watch, and you'll be able to see all the different events that are happening over the weekend. And we release them on Thursdays. And today, I'm talking about one of the events. It's called Sherwood Forest Yuletide Festival, and it's taking place in McDade, Texas, which is about 35 miles east of Austin. If you've never been to Sherwood Forest, it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of things to do out there. It's like a Renaissance fairgrounds. Essentially, they're going to have live music, Scottish Highland games, and so much more. Archery, you can actually participate. I saw some pictures where they were, and they're not allowing for us people who are not very good at archery to do it, but some of the more professionals are lining up their arrows on fire and doing it. It's a lot of fun anyway. Santa's actually going to be there. Kicks off this Friday at 6 p.m., and then they'll have it on Saturday from about 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. You can visit Sherwood Forest Fair with FAIRE.com or KXAN.com. We have all the details there. If you're planning on going Friday, we're looking at 67 by 6 p.m. and by 9 p.m. 64 degrees. All right. Clouds and radar at this point, still seeing plenty of clouds rolling through with temperatures right now sitting at about 58 degrees in Fredericksburg, 59 in Mason, 61, yes, correct, sorry, 61 in Marble Falls, 62 in Austin, 61 in Bastrop, and 63 in LaGrange. Over the next couple of hours, we'll see more clouds rolling in, but we don't see the rain really start to return until tomorrow afternoon, and that's going to last with us all the way through Saturday. You see lots of activity that picks up, but all of it very isolated and very minimal at best. It's not until we get to Monday where we have a better chance of seeing some heavier showers. So tomorrow we'll start off pretty cold and we'll start to warm up. 52 by the time we get to early in the morning. By the afternoon, we're slowly getting back up to about 65 degrees. That looks like it's going to be our high before things start to calm down as we get to later in the night. All right, so where are our high temperatures headed? And that's above average. Our average temperature around this time of year, 64. We're going to be hitting into the upper 70s out there. And that's much warmer, but at least the rain is returning, and that we can be appreciative of. All of that coming in from the south, that front comes in, and all that moisture is going to bundle up and lift, because that's what happens when we get a front. All the warmer air starts to rise, becomes more saturated, and we see rainfall. The amount of rainfall, somewhere between a quarter of an inch to an inch out towards the eastern counties, and only about a quarter of an inch the farther out towards the west you go. Here's a look at your 7-day forecast. 65 for today, 69 for tomorrow. We're looking at 70s by Saturday and Sunday, and by Monday into Tuesday, a front comes in and drives our temperatures down once again.
Soon, a lot of kids out there will be out of school and home for winter break. That can create some challenges for families as they adjust to having a lot more free time on their hands.
To help get you and your family prepared, we want to bring in an expert with the Austin Child Guidance Center. So Chelsea Romero, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You know, we want to start with this. There's probably a lot of pros for kids having a long break from classes in school, but there may be some cons too. So what are some of the impacts you typically see on kids as they have these long winter breaks?
Absolutely. I would say some can be a little bit more isolated. Having that day-to-day interaction with peers can do a lot for your mental health. So, you know, being away from school, maybe around your family more, that can lead to maybe some depression, some isolation.
And what are some of the best ways to perhaps engage with them more, perhaps, you know, to keep them busy and fulfilled?
I would say definitely just trying to do, it doesn't have to be anything expensive. You can, you know, jump in the car and go look at holiday lights, have a family movie night. You can also go through old toys and donate any old toys that maybe they're not really playing with anymore. And just kind of engage them in things around the house, like making cookies or decorating gingerbread houses together. Just kind of pulling them into normal activities to make it feel more engaging for them.
Yeah.
I know part of the struggle is it's cold outside, especially in those mornings and evenings. We can't just say, hey, go outside and play like normal. So what are some ways that you balance those indoor activities with, you know, bundling up and getting outside? What do you recommend for kids so they get a mix and don't feel so cooped up?
Right. I think it's good to get some time outside, but, you know, especially during these cold months, it can be really difficult. So not too much time outside, but enough to get some sunlight, and then moving back inside where it's warm and doing engaging activities inside.
I want to revisit something you said a minute ago. You talked about maybe even going through old toys with your kids and talking about donating that. How important is that to kind of model the way to give back and highlight the importance of that?
I think it's really important. A lot of our kiddos who, you know, generally have a Christmas, tons of presents under the tree, they start to think that that's how it is for everybody. And unfortunately, it's not. So, you know, donating these toys could provide presents under the tree, you know, metaphorically or literally, for kids who are in, you know, foster homes or, I forgot the word.
Or those kind of situations,
Right.
yeah, that might be in need of something like that.
Exactly.
Amazing.
So talk to us off the top. You said, you know, around these long breaks, you tend to see, you know, maybe even a depression or social isolation in kids. So if a parent is sitting at home and saying, gosh, I've seen some of those signs in my child, or my child might be acting differently and I don't know what's going on. What are some ways or some tools for a parent to open up a conversation with their child? What do you recommend?
Yeah, they can definitely reach out to their kid and say, you know, hey, I've been noticing that you've been kind of in your room a lot lately. Is everything okay? You can also just kind of open it up and say, like, if you ever need to talk about anything, like, you know, about how sad you're feeling or any differences in your emotions, I'm always here.
And before we head out of this conversation, I just want to open up the floor to you. Is there anything else that you think families out there should really keep in mind during these extended holiday breaks?
Yeah, just in general, holidays can bring a lot of emotions. It can be stressful. So giving yourself and your kids kind of a timeout if you need it. If you're with a huge group of family and you just need to step away, that's totally okay.
That's all good for us all to remember, I think.
Yeah, Chelsea Romero with such good tips and such good reminders, I think, for families as they head into this season. I know we've just got a few days left of school, and it can be a challenging time as well as a joyful one. So, Chelsea, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. We'll be right back after the break.
In depth, investigative. This is KXAN News at Noon.
Today, leaders at the Austin Independent School District are talking about the state of special education there.
Last year, the Texas Education Agency found the district repeatedly failed to evaluate students for special education, in some cases delaying evaluations for up to 9 months. The district has really spent the past year adjusting and investing in its program. In September 2023, the district and TEA entered into an agreement to get the district back into compliance with federal and state requirements. Austin ISD says it's made several changes, including increasing the special education budget by $30 million. Today's update will come at 2 this afternoon.
Leaders at the district also broke ground on the Pecan Springs Elementary School. That campus is getting a full modernization as part of the district's 2022 bond program. This is one of dozens of projects happening right now with money approved by voters out there. Students from the school greeted their East Austin neighbors to celebrate this occasion. The groundbreaking is now one of 28 comprehensive active 2022 bond projects that the district has in the works.
In Pecan Springs, given its location, given kind of the challenges that we've had in this community, to really invest and support our students in a meaningful way is absolutely incredible.
This is all set to be finished in the fall of 2026. Most bond projects do take years to complete, so for some perspective, there are still a few projects out there being finished with the district's bond passed in 2017.
First warning weather.
I want to get a live look outside now as we head into the 12:30 half hour over a beautiful look at downtown. Absolutely gorgeous out there.
Yeah, and it looks like the temperatures are creeping into the 60s now. But Freddie, we've seen the cold temperatures in the past few days as well as a little bit of rain. And you've got an update now about the drought conditions for our area.
Yeah, as we look at some of this, unfortunately, it's not getting better. And if you look at it compared to last week, you're going to say to yourself, well, I don't see a huge change here, but there is a change. And I'll show you that in just a moment. I'm going to zoom out a bit more for the rest of the state. And you're able to see the clearer conditions from San Angelo to Abilene to Lubbock to Amarillo. They got plenty of showers in the same out towards eastern Texas, where we had plenty of heavy showers that moved through, even though we didn't get as much. So what's the difference between this week and last week? Well, it's only just a tad, and it's mostly as you get farther out towards the east. As you get past Rockdale, you're able to see more severe conditions kind of peaking up there, and then the same down towards the south of Lockhart, and you're able to see some building up there. So how much of the state is in an active drought right now? Well, this is the latest number that was just released, and while it did get worse for us, it got better for the state overall. We're now at 48.95% of Texas in a drought of some sort. And that's, of course, given to us by the United States Drought Monitor overall. So we'll continue to watch that, and hopefully we get more rainfall over the weekend, and that should subside just a tad. This is a live look at our 360 Westlake camera, sponsored by Lorenz and Lorenz. Beautiful skies, but you're able to see more cloud coverage. Temperatures now 62 degrees out there. Let's take a look at the rest of the area. While Austin's at 62, San Marcos is at 62. Fredericksburg still in the 50s. Looks like they're the last ones, with Georgetown at 60 and Bastrop at 63 degrees. Coming up, we're going to talk about that fresh day ahead. We're going to talk about your rain chances for the weekend, and we're going to talk about the next front that's on the way.
Freddie, thanks so much. An American man found in Syria told NBC News today that he spent months in a Syrian prison after crossing into that country on a, quote, pilgrimage. NBC's Matt Bradley reports now from Damascus.
Yeah, Travis Timmerman was reported missing in Missouri earlier this year. He was last seen in Budapest in May, and it was from there that he began his long, strange journey that ended up for months in a Syrian prison, one of the most notoriously cruel police states in the world. And I have to tell you, he said that he was well treated and well fed. He said his only complaint really to me was that he was having trouble going to the bathroom. Now, the Syrians who found him said that he was walking down the street barefoot. Now, he was taking questions from reporters, and actually at one point people kept asking him if he wanted to talk to his family, and they promised him that they would get him to American custody. He refused both and instead said that he was comfortable there and that he would take more questions from reporters. He told me he wasn't a journalist, as had been reported by Syrians on social media, the ones who had found him. He said instead that he was a pilgrim, that he had been called by God. He said that he had crossed the border from Lebanon into Syria on foot, crossing through the woods and the mountains for 3 days and 3 nights without any food before he was discovered by a Syrian border guard. And this was months ago. Now, this is a highly unusual experience for many people who have endured imprisonment here in Syria. They've been victims of torture, of starvation, abuse, and executions. Matt Bradley, NBC News, Damascus, Syria.
At least 4 people were injured when a plane crashed into some cars on a Texas highway yesterday. It happened in Victoria during the busy after-school rush hour. The twin-engine propeller plane crashed into 3 cars, splitting in half and leaving debris scattered across the roadway. According to the FAA, the only person on board the plane was the pilot. That individual's name has not been released. 4 people were taken to area hospitals, 3 with non-life-threatening injuries, and 1 was actually transported to an out-of-town hospital for higher-level treatment. The Mississippi company that owns the aircraft says it was conducting a land survey in that area. The cause of the crash is still under investigation.
Police here in Austin are looking for a suspect after a hit-and-run crash last month in North Austin. This all happened on Saturday, November 9th on Research Boulevard, northbound near Olin Road. Police provided a picture of the suspect, who they say is a Hispanic man. They say he was driving a white GMC pickup truck with a white sticker in the rear window. It may have damage to the front end, though, because of the crash. Police are offering up a reward of up to $1,000 for information leading to an arrest. Soon you could be able to get your driver's license in person a little bit faster.
The state agency in charge is hoping to speed up the process with some more staffing. The Texas Department of Public Safety is asking the state for $207 million to hire hundreds of new employees. They say with 1,200 employees, they'd be able to increase staffing at not only driver's license offices, but also the customer service center. Staffing shortages have caused the service center to miss close to 95% of phone calls in the past 4 years. The new DPS director, Colonel Freeman Martin, said the agency is also working on a new system that would allow you to upload your documents from home before your appointment rather than at the office.
We're not having to verify and scan documents and take hours in the office. They can do that stuff from home.
The agency says it is seeing a 30% no-show rate at appointments in some major cities, and it plans to address that with a new system to allow people to cancel appointments they've made.
Diving deeper into the DPS staffing, it is also asking for more than 400 highway patrol troopers and 65 special agents. Some of those positions will be dedicated to solving cold cases. The agency says it has limited resources in-house, so the additional staffing would establish a cross-agency cold case investigation program.
Some people in East Austin are calling the area a postal desert, but at the moment, the U.S. Postal Service doesn't have any plans to change that. This past summer, the USPS closed a location on East 6th Street. So you can take a look at this map. It shows the 17 remaining locations in Austin. As you can see, there are no offices between US 290 west of Highway 183 and north of Lady Bird Lake. While the Postal Service is hiring for more employees right now, they say the open positions are not expected to go to a new East Side facility. To learn more about this, digital reporter Kelsey Thompson has a full report on KXAN.com. Well, experts say parents and caregivers are increasingly buying fake car seats.
So that could mean the brand label on that car seat may not be what it says it is. The Dell Children's Medical Center says increasingly, after giving birth and preparing to leave the hospital, Dell nursing teams have noticed families showing up with car seats that are not quite right. They say families chose them because they are cheaper, but because they are counterfeit, if there's a crash and someone is hurt, families may not be able to hold the manufacturers accountable like they could with a legitimate car seat.
And there's an increased risk to you and your child because those seats are not necessarily meeting the federal safety standards.
They could be missing labels, warning labels, instruction labels on the car seat, manufacturer labels on there. So they are just not the safest for kiddos to be riding around in right now.
Now, if parents are still unsure if they have a counterfeit car seat, they can actually go to a Department of State Health Services Safe Riders Program distribution site, which are all over the state. And these sites can also provide a free car seat to eligible families. Going in depth, around 46% of all car seats are not installed properly. That's according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. The agency says in 2022, more than 700 children died in crashes, and more than a third of them were unrestrained. Roughly 300 of those children were in the 8 to 12-year age group. We want to turn now because we are shining a light on important women in our community, and we need your help. We are taking nominations for our Central Texas Remarkable Woman. So right now you can go online to KXAN.com to nominate someone you know, and our local winner will travel to Los Angeles, where 125 women from around the nation will be honored. And then the national winner will get to designate $25,000 to the nonprofit of her choice. So it's an incredible opportunity. You know you've got somebody in mind. If you do, scan the QR code on your screen. And remember, we are taking nominations right now.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to KXAN News at Noon. We're showing you a gorgeous shot from downtown Austin there. This is the camera atop our KXAN studios here. That beautiful blue sky with those wispy clouds. Shaping up to be a nice day overall, but we've got a look at some weekend chances of rain coming up in just a few moments with meteorologist Freddie Bella. Now, elsewhere in the U.S., in the town of Collins, Mississippi, there is a new firefighter on the force, and he's entirely robotic. This is the Thermite RS3 firefighting robot. It's remotely operated, runs on diesel fuel, and it can deploy not only water, but also foam and dry chemicals. It can be used to help put out dangerous industrial fires or even special hazard incidents like a petroleum fire.
The large number of fuel tank farms and terminals that we have in Collins and in our area puts us at a higher response capability to have to be able to protect those type of facilities.
There are only 6 of these Thermite robots in the U.S. The fire departments in Los Angeles and Dallas have one, along with a chemical facility in New Mexico. The Navy also has 2 of these robots. Well, speaking of robots, in Dallas, there is a new way to get your lunch delivered there.
An Austin-based company is deploying robots in downtown Dallas to meet the growing demand for food delivery. David Goins has more.
If you don't hear it, you'll certainly see it rolling down a downtown sidewalk.
So we are looking at autonomous delivery robots.
Robots ready to feed you.
Place an order.
Provided you use the Uber Eats app to order lunch from a downtown Dallas restaurant that's signed up with Austin-based AV Ride.
The robots are designed to take care about the so-called hyper-local delivery.
And Yulia Shevchenko says, do it in a pretty pedestrian-savvy way. AV Ride's robots scoot along under 10 miles an hour, using 360-degree radius cameras to detect people and other potential obstacles, helping them navigate sidewalks, cross streets, even understand traffic lights. We watched AV Ride make their first Dallas deliveries Tuesday along Ackerd in Maine. Turns out we weren't alone.
I think it's amazing, for sure.
Hamza Janjir, who told us he often carries his to-go orders, says the AV Ride robot stopped him in his tracks.
And that just caught me off guard. I just saw it from far away, like a block down, and I was like, this is actually amazing.
Texas approved autonomous delivery vehicles 5 years ago. While AV Ride is the first making downtown deliveries, at least 2 other companies have robot delivery presence in North Texas. Shevchenko says feedback from other cities AV Ride operates in are that people find the robots with their variety of facial displays, yes, cute.
These are probably like the cutest creatures on the sidewalks.
No one wants ugly robots.
No one, absolutely.
Yeah. AV Ride says it plans to grow its robot fleet footprint into neighborhoods beyond downtown next year. But Tuesday marks its first step, rolling down the automated delivery path.
Okay, AV Ride is also teaming up with Uber to try to develop a driverless taxi service as well. So they're doing a lot.
Yeah, they're just catching up to what Austin is doing because we've seen those around town for quite a while.
I wonder if you mess with it, if it gets little mad eyes.
Yeah, like angry eyes or
of heart
something.
eyes.
They change
Yeah, it's a very angry robot.
Say, don't mess with me. Yeah.
You know, one thing that we love doing is not only seeing what happens in town, but whatever happens out of town as well, because there's a lot that goes on over the weekend, and I like to do what's called Weekend Watch. So let's go and take a look at what we're going to touch on for today. In the last half hour, we talked about the Sherwood Forest Yuletide Festival. Now I want to talk about the Armadillo Christmas Bazaar that kicks off this Saturday. It's a 10-day event, and it's their 50th annual Armadillo Christmas Bazaar. It's really cool. They're going to have music. They're going to have artists. They're going to have different vendors, and it's going to be open daily from 11 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. at the Palmer Events Center, just within that downtown area. But like I said, there's so many other events that are going to be happening over the weekend. It was hard to pick, but I really liked this one. I really wanted to showcase this one as well. So they're going to have festive vibes, and of course, you can go do a lot of shopping, and you can go to our website, KXAN.com, for all the details there. I have an article that you can read about all the different things that are happening across the weekend, across Central Texas. So be sure to do that. Or Facebook, we do a Facebook Live as well. So for Saturday and Sunday, 76 on Saturday, 77 on Sunday. Better chance of rain for Saturday compared to Sunday itself. Here's a live look out of our Whittlesey Landscape Supplies camera in southeast Austin. The clouds are rolling in for the metro and now for other spots as well. In fact, this is what it looks like. You can see started off early with barely any cloud coverage, and that started to push through. And as the day goes on, we'll get more clouds, more clouds, more clouds, and just make it a mostly cloudy day. But for now, 62 degrees. That's actually not bad. This morning, Austin, Mabry was down at around 36. So this is a big change from what we saw earlier in the morning, and it's all that daytime heating that we've been getting that's allowed our temperatures to rebound and get back up into the mid-60s. As we go throughout the rest of the day, there's the more cloud coverage I was talking about, but rain chances don't really return until tomorrow. It's around midday. We'll get some isolated showers that'll pop up, and that lasts with us through Saturday and going into Sunday. In fact, Saturday is the best chance that we have to see some rain overall. Pollen count, keeping cedar in the low category, mold in the low category, with that upward trend for both of those. Temperatures for tonight won't be as cold, 54 degrees. That's not too bad. And we'll start off in the 50s and start to move back up into the 60s for tomorrow, 67 degrees. And then by the evening hours, we'll be down to about 64 degrees. And the rain chances overall will pretty much be for everyone. Isolated showers Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then we have a front that's going to come in. Ahead of that front, we'll get that lift. That'll create some showers and thunderstorms within the area. And then the front comes in, drier air, but then we'll see rain return once again as we get out towards Wednesday. So here's a look at your 7-day forecast. 65 for tomorrow, today, 69 for tomorrow, 76 as we get out towards Saturday, 77 on Sunday, 76 on Monday. Front comes in, and our rain chances start to decrease for Tuesday and pick back up on Wednesday.
This Christmas, you can make some animals' dreams come true at the San Antonio Zoo. Didn't even mean to rhyme there. I love that, though. The San Antonio Zoo has their animal wish list available now. They are taking donations from now until December 31st. And it's full of unique requests for each and every creature, ranging from scent-filled spices to some puzzle feeders, even portable boom boxes for some of the animals to jam, I guess. Each donation will provide vital enrichment to keep those animals healthy, engaged, and active all year long. And you saw that there as an added bonus. Santa made a visit to the zoo and said hello to a few of the animals. So if you want to make a donation, just go to sazoo.org/wishlist.
They need some gifts too.
I know.
I'd love to see that. It was also adorable seeing the sloth being held by Santa. Come on now.
I'll be honest, I don't think my dog would like Santa very much. I think he might be a little scared.
Yeah, mine too.
It's funny because even though they were big cats, they still like the boxes.
There you go. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, that is very true.
Some things don't change.
The DNA is always there.
For sure, for sure. All right, let's go take a look at your out-the-door forecast. We are looking at temperatures heading right back up to the 60s for today, around 65 degrees by 3 p.m., and then we'll slowly head back down. Only going to reach to the mid-50s for tonight. In fact, just look at your 7-day forecast. 65 for today, 69 for tomorrow, 70s, which is 10 degrees above normal around this time of year. But the chance of rain there for Saturday, a stronger chance on Monday. A front comes in and takes us down to around average temperatures.
All right, thank you, Freddie, and thank you all for watching this afternoon. We will see you back here in about 30 minutes with another update. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday and your upcoming weekend. Take care.